Why, hello. It's a pleasure to see you all. We're back. I didn't even do anything that time. I'm telling you, when I've got the SSD card, hopefully my streams aren't gonna crash. God damn it. So we'll wait for people to come back in, and then we'll continue with the video, shall we? We're halfway through. Yeah, I'd like that. I'd like some theories on who's behind this nonsense. People who new to the channel must be like looking at the live streams and being like, "Oh wow, 2 Varys live streams, cool," and not realizing that like part 1 always ends with a crash, and the second part is me being like, "Ah." I think I need to change my name from the Late Lord Haven to the Late Lord something. No, the something Lord Haven. The crashing Lord Haven. That's not very witty, is it? That is my middle name, though. Lord Horatio Crash Haven. Alright, let's continue the video while people pour back in. My goodness. Before we continue, I'll drop it again. If anyone has anything to say, feel free to send a tip via Streamlabs, and I'll read the tips out at the very end of the stream. Or if you want to send a super chat, you can do that as well. Let's continue. D says, I don't sound like a boomer. I don't sound like a boomer, but I am a boomer. At heart, I'm a boomer. Okay. Let's continue the video and pretend that I never crashed. The Honourable Sir Jacelyn Bywater to be the new commander of the City Watch. Oh yeah, that's Jacelyn Bywater, who has an iron hand, but I don't draw arms or hands, so... so I can't just have like a disembodied hand floating there, so... And help set up a secret route from Jataya's brothel all the way to Shay, so that Tyrion can visit. That Shay picture's so good. Right? It's not just me, right? That Shay picture. I love that Shay piece of artwork. 30. Let's see if we can regain the 80 viewers from the last stream. Probably not. We'll see how it goes. His mistress, without arousing suspicion. He also procures the perfect bodyguards for Shay. Big old ugly men who aren't interested in women. A Bravosi daggerman, a eunuch strangler, and 2 Ibanese thugs. It is funny that Tyrion is like, hey Varys, I need some muscle to protect Shay, but they can't be straight because I don't want her cheating on me. So I want you to get a bunch of big, ugly men who aren't interested in women to guard her. Like, damn, that's insecure. God damn, Tyrion, that's insecure. We never hear what happens to these fellas. I want to see them come back. I want a Ibanese gay man number 2 as a prologue, as the prologue for Winds of Winter. That'd be great. Furthermore, Tyrion's lie to Varys isn't about Myrcella marrying Theon Greyjoy, but about Tommen Baratheon and Sir Gregor Clegane being sent to Sunspear. The former to be warded, the latter to be punished. Yeah, as I said before, I like this change. I like the simplifying it for TV. I think that worked. There is also the matter of Tyrek. Ugh, it's Tyrek Lannister. Horse emojis in the chat, everyone. Horse emojis only. I've used Tyrek before. I used him in I think it was my Young Griff video where I talk about, in more detail, about the famous Fantasy Haven Zuma invasion theory, trademarked. Varys swooping in with his young puppets. Aegon Targaryen, Tyrek Lannister, Edric Storm, perhaps soon to be Edric Baratheon. All these young puppets he's going to install, and of course one of them is Tyrek. Is he a horse? Is he an anteater? Maybe he's both. The Lannister cousin who does not appear in the show. He goes missing after the King's Landing riot, last seen a horse, and some suspect Varys snatched him away for future use. The third book is the final time where the Varyses are somewhat consistent with each other. He testifies against Tyrion at the trial, but later frees his ally. However, instead of being asked to help by Jaime, he is actively threatened at knife point. Yeah. Book Varys is like, Jaime goes to his place and he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you if you don't help me free Tyrion. Because Varys has no reason to free Tyrion, right? Varys is like, I don't need to risk my life to free Tyrion. I like Tyrion, but I can do more work destroying the crown as Master of Whisperers. But when Jaime forces him to help Tyrion and then Tyrion kills Tywin, Varys is like, okay, I think I will. I can see this go a different direction. Let's see if I can cause chaos from behind the scenes. He drugs the jailers with sweet sleep and frees the dwarf, taking him past a ladder which leads to the Hand's chambers. Whether he did this intentionally or not, Tyrion is nonetheless provoked into ascending and killing his father. Shout out to Tyrion under the Red Keep, climbing a ladder that goes all the way to the top of the Tower of the Hand. Like, his little ass legs going up a massive fucking ladder. He makes one mistake, he's fallen to his death. Like, my goodness. It's worth noting that the biggest difference at this point has to be the verbal sparring matches with Littlefinger. They don't appear in the books. Season 5, baby. Now things are really diverging. Varys and Tyrion arrive at Illyrio's manse, although Illyrio himself is not there. Yeah, was that the Roger Allen, right? Was it that the actor couldn't make it and they were like, okay, yeah, that's fine, sure. Or was it that D&D were like, we could bring him back, but no one's going to remember the random bearded man from episode 1 of season 1, so let's just have Varys and Tyrion. Because if they were like, let's kind of pretend Illyrio fucking died or something, that's really lame. That would have been so cool to have Illyrio be like, Varys, my friend, Tyrion, let's talk, and then they all talk about their plans. I don't know. Turns out Varys is a Daenerys loyalist and always has been, and believes Tyrion would make a good advisor for her. The good of the realm shtick seems to be legitimate, with Varys acting as though Daenerys has proven herself to be especially fit to rule the Seven Kingdoms. She is stronger than Tommen, gentler than Stannis, loved by millions, etc, etc. If that's the case, then why... Yeah, this is the prelude to my rant later on in the video, but it is... My boy Harry Lloyd, look at him. It is weird. It is very weird that, you know, the whole good of the realm seems to be legitimate. And he's like, Daenerys is stronger than Tommen, but gentler than Stannis. She's loved by millions. She's blah, blah, blah. She's the perfect leader. It's like, the perfect leader to make the realm a better place instead of the corruption of the Lannisters and the power-mongering of the Tyrells and the people like Littlefinger, blah, blah, blah. But hold on, didn't you literally plot with Illyrio to install Viserys? You bitch, you bald bitch. What are you talking about? You literally wanted, like, an angry, sadistic young man to be the king. And even if you planned all along that he's going to die and then Daenerys can take over, well, you wanted just a teenage girl to take over? You thought having a Dothraki army of raiders and rapers led by either a sadistic Targaryen prince or a meek Targaryen princess was better for the realm than just Robert Baratheon ruling and living over a, you know, relatively peaceful age with a admittedly kind of corrupt council. Like, come on. Why was he previously supporting Viserys Targaryen? Either he knew of the young man's cruelty and mental instability, or he knew nothing about him. Or did he predict that the Dothraki would inevitably kill him? First of all, that's stupid, and secondly, why would Dany be any better? At the start of season 1, she's just a meek teenage girl. Varys is acting like he's suddenly decided to root for Dany, but he's been... Yeah, he's like talking about Dany's good traits, and it's like, boy, you didn't know this when you first supported her. She's become this leader that you like. It really is like, well, I was forced to free you, we're both exiled, we don't have a cause anymore. How about Daenerys as our cause? It's like, bitch, you were planning this in season 1. If you're gonna cut young Griff, and have it that he supported the and have it that from season 1 he supported the Targaryens, and that's it. There's no young Griff thing, there's no Blackfire, it's just purely Targaryens. That's fine, but don't pretend that he's like some virtuous guy. Like, okay, maybe it's as simple as he wanted power, because it's not for the good of the realm. It's we wanted a puppet. Illyrio and I had a scheme to put a puppet in power. We were going to cause chaos at a certain point, have an invasion, put our puppet in power, boom. Instead of being like, oh, it's for the good of the realm. Shut up, boy. B-O-I, boy. Right, let's continue. I don't know what I'm doing. A Targ loyalists in season 1. We never actually find... God damn, Crossfire I'm sorry for pausing. Crossfire just said, I remember him as Will Scarlet. You just brought back memories, my son. Oh, Will Scarlet from season 1... Right? Season 1 of the Robin Hood TV show on BBC. I grew up on that show. I was a kid when that came out. Dun 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 dun. Okay, that's enough. But yes, he was in that. He was also in Doctor Who. In the Scarecrow two-parter in season 3 with Martha as a companion. He plays this like weird posh, boarding school teenager who gets taken over by an alien, but because he acts so weird anyway, because he's already like an awkward posh boy, no one notices. And the whole episode he's just doing this weird face. Anyway, stop distracting me. Find out why. This, of course... Yes, Johnny, with Richard Armitage as the baddie. Richard Armitage as Guy of Gisborne. Sexy man. Guy of Gisborne, wearing guy liner, wearing black outfits. And then Keith David? Keith Allen, not Keith David. That's a musician. No, Keith Allen as the Sheriff of Nottingham. Oh, what a great show. What a show. What a TV show. My God. Although, you know what's funny? The Sheriff of Nottingham, played by Alfie Allen's father. So there's the connection. Theon Greyjoy's father, in real life, played the Sheriff of Nottingham. Okay, that's enough. I'm showing off how much of a early stage Zoomer I am. No, late stage. Age-wise, I'm on the later end of being a Zoomer. I was born too late to be a millennial, and too early to be a proper Gen Z, so I'm in the weird, like, in-between category where I'm technically I'm Gen Z, but I'm not quite Gen Z enough, so I'm just kind of like... Of course, is the result of the show eradicating the young Griff storyline, but we'll get into that later. So, the dynamic disabled duo depart from the... I don't know why I made myself laugh. By way of Volantis via carriage. After Tyrion is kidnapped by Jorah, Varys vanishes from the story until the finale, when he rolls up to Meereen. The city is a powder keg, and Tyrion needs his old allies' help. So naturally, Varys yeets out of there in Season 6. Well, not before walking through the city without any guards, encountering convenient common tongue... That is funny. Like, you could argue it's a nitpick, but I don't think it is a nitpick. That you have Kill the Masters and Misa is a Master in common tongue, in English, on the wall of this foreign city where everyone is speaking in a different language. It's kind of like, and watching Dany's fleet burn along with the hopes of a faithful adaptation. He also questions the prostitute Vala, who has been murdering unsullied soldiers on behalf of the Sons of the Harpy. He generously bribes her with silver and a safe passage, and in return learns that the Sons of the Harpy are funded by Astapor and Meereen. Yeah. Whatever's going on with the Sons of the Harpy in the books, you know that the twist will not be the Sons of the Harpy are being funded by Astapor and Meereen. I feel like the show was like, whatever the real answer is, we don't have time for that shit. No one cares about Meereen. Let's just say it's the other cities funding it. Why not? Varys has always been more sympathetic in the show, but now we can see he's turned soft. I think that was a bit harsh from me to be like, yeah, Varys, they're really... I mean, they are pushing the good guy Varys by having him be like, I'm going to give you silver and a safe passage, but to be fair... That is in the wider context of the scene, which I didn't really talk about, is that she's like, I'm not going to tell you, because if I tell you the truth, then they will kill me. They will find out and kill me. And Varys sort of implies, well, if you don't tell me, then I'll be the one to kill you. And she's like, well, now I'm dead either way. And he's like, or you tell me, and then I give you safe passage abroad. So he is being ruthless, but it's still an attempt to kind of show him being, having scruples and not necessarily being as ruthless as he is in the books, where he shoots Kevan Lannister and has him stabbed to death with daggers in order to frame Tyrion, while kind of apologising and saying, nothing personal, just business. Before leaving the city for good to seek allies for Dany, Varys meets with the greatest Game of Thrones character since Tyene Sand. Now that's just immature. Come on now. Come on now, you're an adult. You're a grown adult, Haven. You don't have to... Come on, don't be cheeky. What the fuck was the point of Kinvara? Speaking of things that didn't go anywhere. What was the deal with Kinvara? What? She's like the high priestess, and then she rocks up and she's like, yes, the Lord of Light and all that stuff. And then she doesn't come back again. And I know... Was it... No, it wasn't this series that Carice Van Houten was pregnant. I can't remember. But yeah, what was their plan? Was she supposed to have a bigger role in the rest of the season? Was the Lord of Light and the Valorist religion meant to play a bigger role? Because she just kind of rocks up, and then Daenerys, Azor Ahai, Lord of Light, and then it doesn't go anywhere. It's one of the many things that doesn't go anywhere. It's like, why is this scene here? The Azor Ahai prophecy didn't do anything. The whole Lord of Light wasn't relevant to anything. The only thing the Lord of Light does in the show is bring back Jon Snow so he can shout at a dragon, and bring back Beric Dondarrion so that he can stand in front of a doorway posing like Jesus and give Arya like 5 seconds to escape, and she wastes half of those 5 seconds by watching him get stabbed before running away. Oh, that's a trope I hate, by the way. I hate the trope of someone sacrifices themselves and being like, go, run, leave me, and the person they're saving is standing there gormlessly going, huh? And then the person dies, and then the person they're saving runs away, and it's like, well, you just wasted like 90% of the reason he died. God damn it. Anyway, yeah. Kinvara is the high priestess of the Red Temple of Volantis, and the magic-hating Varys is naturally suspicious and... Booba. I do have to say, it's funny how in the book, the high priest of the Temple of Volantis, what's his name? Benero. His name is Benero, and he's a tall, thin, bald, pale man with a flame tattoo on his face. And they were like, we could do that, or we could just find a big titty woman. Let's do that instead. Because Melisandre exists, so that's what the red priestesses are. They're all just sexy women with necklace. She does have the necklace, which could imply that she's also perhaps an old woman who's like retaining youth and beauty through magic. But yeah, it is kind of funny that it's like when they when Maggie the Frog, instead of Maggie the Frog being this like ancient fat blind cackling woman, kind of a stereotypical woods witch, instead they're like, let's have young sexy Maggie the Frog. It's like, okay, sure, all right. Skeptical of her, she references the Spy Master's castration, and he does one of his faces. He does a Varys face, you know what I mean. Varys I love the Varys. Later appears in Dawn to persuade Olenna Tyrell to declare for Team Targ, because apparently she's now in charge of the Reach. There are no... House Tyrell is extinct, everyone. It's genuinely over. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Olenna, join Team Targaryen. Bring the Reach on our side. She's like, okay, Varys, I don't have any say, because the Lord Tyrell is dead, and his children are dead, and I'm his mother, and this does not make me Lady Paramount of the Reach. The next in line should become Lord Paramount, and I don't know who that is. No one knows who it is, but I literally have no sway. No one is rallying behind me. I am an aunt of Lord Paxter Redwine, who, by the way, is a paedophile, apparently. Like Cersei taking the Iron Throne, right? Where it's like, why are you next in line? You're not next in line. Get off the throne, goddammit. Anyway. People in the chat being like, Kinvara looks like Melisandre cosplay. Kinvara is like Melisandre at home, but Melisandre at home is still worth it, because Melisandre is so peak to begin with. Load. Then transports back to Essos onto Dany's ship. In Season 7, the Spider serves on Dany's war council. She waits until the entire fleet has arrived on Dragonstone before raising the fact that Varys tried to assassinate her. Whoops. It's the classic characters travelling a long way, and then when they reach their destination, they're like, so, let's talk about our backstory. So what were you doing during the ride? Also, yeah, can we bring up the fact that Varys goes to Dawn and is like, I need you to join Daenerys, and then is like teleports behind Daenerys? No, you can say that the Dawn ships and the Reach ships, the Dornish ships and the Iron Island ships travelled to pick up Daenerys and her fleet, and then came back, and Varys travelled to Dragonstone, and Varys joined, and that's why there's a shot of him standing behind Daenerys. It is a bit teleporty, but I think it can make sense. Varys' defence is that he had to do what Robert asked him to do. He was playing a role. He will be loyal to Dany, but that loyalty won't be blind. Varys later confronts Melisandre. Is it just me, or does his face look... Okay, not important, but who agrees with me here? Varys' face in this scene. That face looks weird, right? It's not just me. I remember when I watched this scene for the first time, I remember being like, something feels wrong with Varys. What's wrong with Varys? I'll tell you what it is. It's that he looks kind of tanned, and like his face isn't smooth. And the character clearly has like, he's in the books he's described as having a powdered face, and in the show they do give him a lightly powdered face, not as much as they could do, but lightly powdered. And in this scene he's just like, he hasn't got the face powder, and it'll be cool if like season 5 onwards he just doesn't powder his face, because he's like, I'm not playing this character anymore, I'm not playing the eunuch of the court. But it's only this scene specifically. Maybe it's just me, but I remember looking at that and being like, his face is different. Tan Varys, unpowdered Varys. Freaks me out. Look weird in this scene. Is this the only scene where he doesn't have a powdered face? Anyway, Melisandre decides to be a bitch and tells Varys it's his fate to die in Westeros. I mean, that's where he lives, so I don't know why he looks so shocked. That's like if someone was like, I almost just said my actual name. let me. That's like if someone went, Lord Haven, you are destined to die in Guantanamo Bay. And I was like, yeah, well, I live in Guantanamo Bay, so... And then they're like, ooh, Guantanamo... And I'm like, I live here. I'm not gonna... I guess I know that I'm not dying on vacation. Cool. If Melisandre was like, it's your fate to die here, Varys should have been like, I'm just gonna move to Essos and, like, chill in Essos till I'm 90, then I'm gonna head back. So yeah, Varys being scared of magic basically results in him disliking 2 sexy red priestesses, and that's it. He doesn't really take his character anywhere. Yeah, that's all the castration is in the show. In the books, it's 2 things. It's 1... No, it's 3 things. 1, it informs the character he plays, the stereotype of the eunuch he plays. 2, it creates the conditions by which he can be a masterful schemer because he is not driven by lust and sexual desire, unlike other people like Littlefinger. And 3, it gives him a distaste of magic. So in the show, we see the eunuch character Varys, although in the later seasons he doesn't really drop that character. He kind of plays it the same. 2, we see... where was I? Completely lost track. Boo, I did the ADHD thing. The thought's completely out of my head. Where did it go? Damn, what was I saying? Yes, it does 3 things. Eunuch, sex drive, and fear of magic. Yes, and in the show, the whole eunuch persona, he kind of keeps it the whole time. Sex drive, he was always asexual, so it's irrelevant, as we saw earlier. And C, the whole scared of magic... He has a scene with Kinvara where he's like, how'd you know about my penis? And then the scene with Melisandre, she's like, you're going to die here. And he's like, you magic, I hate magic. But like, that doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't fit into anything. It doesn't even like link into perhaps fear of dragons, fear of fire. You know, it's something like that. It just doesn't go anywhere. Like, you could say that maybe one of the reasons he could have rebelled against Daenerys in the show is because she started embracing the Lord of Light religion, and he was like, and that would be a reason for him to turn against Daenerys, but they don't do anything with the Lord of Light religion, so it just... Anyway. And then in the books, it's, you know, the castration is... He's not asexual in the books, you know, in the same way he is in the show, so clearly the castration was like a big and necessary part of who he is. And the whole magic thing hasn't come into play yet. We can criticize it if it doesn't, but in Winds and Dream, presumably, if they come out, when they come out, we will learn about... We will see how Varys' fear of magic like plays into things. Like, how is it relevant beyond just an interesting bit about his character? You know, I hate magic or whatever. Right. Took me a long time to make the point I was making, and I'm still not sure what point I made. My thoughts literally just emptied out of my head halfway through that speech, and I was just like, fuck, what am I talking about? Anyway, someone's doubting that I live in Guantanamo Bay. Bro, I've been streaming from my cell for the last 2 years. Come on. After the execution of Randall and Dickon Tarly, Varys seems concerned by Dany's growing ruthless streak, and this concerns carry him into Season 8. Hold on to your bald, powdered head, it's gonna get messy. This meme I'm pretty proud of.
At least your balls won't freeze off.
I had a similar meme in, was it my best episode of Hot D or worst episode of Hot D back in the day. But I had a similar meme where it was like those Burlington bar reactions where there's a bunch of people in the bar watching Game of Thrones episodes, and like those reaction videos of people going "Aah!" and like screaming and shouting over every line of dialogue, soying out over everything. And I edited in the whole, at least your balls won't freeze off, and I edit it in with the crowd cheering wildly at like another dramatic event, like ah! So I kind of, this is like a spiritual sequel to that meme, I guess. The one night stand, sorry, I meant the long night, Varys hides with the women and the children in the crypt with the dead bodies. After the battle, Varys is informed by Tyrion that Jon Snow is in fact Aegon Targaryen, the last living son of Rhaegar, not to be confused with the other Aegon Targaryen, also a son of Rhaegar. It's okay, you can have 2 Rhaegars. What's wrong with that? My firstborn son, that's Rhaegar. My secondborn, that's Rhaegar too. Varys can see a darkness in Dany and believes that actually no, Jon should take the throne. Can this issue be resolved by having Jon and Dany marry and jointly rule? No, shut up. Okay, I've put this off long enough. Okay, this is the rant. I will let it play out and then I want to hear your take in the chat. In the chat, Casper says, Paxter Redwine's sons are next in reach succession after Mace's kids. Yes, because Mace Tyrell has 2 sisters, and the older sister is married to Paxter, and their sons are Horace and Hobber. And so Horace, as the eldest of the twins, would be the next Lord Paramount of the Reach, were Marjorie, Loras, Garland, and Willan all to die out. Varys, why are you spooked by Dany? Your original plan was to put Discount Joffrey on the throne. You can't complain. You act like you genuinely care about the good of the realm. You act like you suddenly decided to support Dany after Season 4, but you've been rooting for Team Targ since Season 1. How would a crazy tyrant invading with an army of savage looters help anything? Why not just focus on making the crown as stable as possible? Why upend it by supporting a crazy young man and or a meek teenager? What personal connection do you have with the Targaryens? How is it related to your friendship with Illyrio? Because that's never expanded upon. The character disappears after Season 1 for some reason. His motivations make no sense. Don't get me wrong, they're also messy in the books, but we're given enough bits and pieces and there are theories that fill the gaps of them. Maybe I should have talked more about Varys Merman. I just had to throw it in as a cameo. I think... Yeah, no. I'm not going to justify it, no. We know for a fact he's a merman. There's no need to go into it. Future. The show is officially over, and we have no idea why this man was ever... I can't remember where that comes from. The infamous theory. It's like it's when, around the time the fandom started breaking, before they accepted the black pill about wins, it was the early days of the fandom going crazy. It was the whole Varys is secretly a merman because he's like bald and fat, and the mermen are, that's a merman. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Flying the red dragon. Just who and can't believe you drew that. Hell yeah, I drew a merman Varys. I posted it for my Patreon Discord, and I said April fact because it was an April fact. The show is officially over, and we have no idea why this man was ever flying the red dragon. Just who and what is this character? Okay. First off, my man does look like Poe from Chen Po from Mulan. Also, okay, I let that rant play out in full. Have I missed anything? Genuinely, am I missing something with show Varys? The fact that him and Illyrio planned for Viserys and Daenerys to take the throne. We never learn who Illyrio really was, what his relationship with Varys was, why Varys supported the Targaryens at all, why the show treats his good of the realm shtick as being legitimate, when clearly it isn't, because he wanted Viserys on the throne, or Daenerys on the throne, back when she was a nobody. Like, am I missing something? Is there like an important bit of information? Because Varys' motivations in the show make no sense. If it's purely power, if it's I wanted a puppet in power, or I'm a Targaryen loyalist because of some weird ideological reason, that isn't portrayed in the show. He's portrayed as a good man who wants the best for the realm. How is Viserys the best of the realm? How is a Dothraki invasion the best of the realm? There's no explanation. It's treated as a kind of, let's just forget, let's pretend the audience... they won't remember, let's just move on. Am I missing something? Am I missing anything? I don't think I am. Varys in the show does not make sense. Anyway, the fleet is attacked because Dany kind of forgot blah blah blah, and Varys swims to safety thanks to being a merman. The ultimate flip-flop that tells Tyrion that actually now he supports Jon Snow as king because he's more based or something. Varys tries to poison the monarch he spent so long scheming to serve, and insists to Jon that he take the throne instead. But of course, he don't want it. Tyrion sells out his old friend because he's a... Sorry, John, you're breaking up. I've got Jon Snow on the phone. Sorry, the reception's terrible, John. Can you repeat what you're saying? I don't want it. I don't want it. I never have. I can't. Sorry, you're breaking up, John. Can you say that louder? I don't want it. I never have. She's my queen. John, I can't hear you. You need better reception. She's my queen. I don't want. I never have. I've made the point, I think. Pathetic cuck now, and Varys is turned into a crispy spider by Drogon. Tyrion did become a cuck in that final season. I think he was a cuck the moment he glared at a door behind which Jon and Dany were banging. And looked kind of jealous, and is like, bro, you good? Yes, Mike in the chat says they felt like they needed a benevolent schemer to counter Littlefinger. That's what it is. They didn't want two villainous schemers. They wanted Littlefinger as the chaotic dark and Varys as the light stability pillar of stability, which is just way more boring than he is in the books. This is a very silent death scene. It's a very awkward death scene. But I hated that death scene. It really soured my mood before the rest of the episode played, and of course a controversial episode anyway. But Varys just standing there, and then like the flames billow out, and there's no sound, no scream, nothing. You don't even see him burn. You just see characters watch, and there's like a bit of a fire, and it was just very weirdly shot. It was like, I think it was shot in a way that was supposed to be respectful for the character, where it wasn't like a gratuitous death scene. But I just remember it being awkward. I was like, so much of season 8 is just like really long, pregnant pauses and characters staring with the camera shoved in their face. And it's just been like, God damn. Say something, do something. Yeah, it was weird. I don't want it. I never have. I'm tired of fighting. The dead are coming. Oh, that's enough. Lo and behold, he turns out to be right. Dany is crazy. I guess Varys was based all along. Goodbye. Alright then, book time. Varys does not accompany Tyrion to Illyria. Now we're getting to the books. Aegor Bitstill says, do the Tully voice now. No. I refuse. You can't make me. You cannot make me. Unless you bribe me. I'm not doing a Kermit voice for anyone. I've got to do my Kermit voices during Hot D reviews when Kermit Tully appears. God damn it. Toast. Instead, the imp spends his time drinking and travelling with the cheesemonger himself. It is not Daenerys Targaryen that Varys and Illyrio support, but Aegon Targaryen, the alleged son of Rhaegar, smuggled away during the sack of King's Landing to be raised by Jon Connington in... Hey, it's our boy Jon Connington. Essos. I've spoken about this scheme in my Young Griff video, but I'll quickly run through the basics. Hey, shilling for myself. Yeah, the Young Griff video is where I really talk about the whole Varys, Illyrio, Blackfire things, and I just didn't want to repeat myself too much. Basics. Varys and Illyrio want Aegon to sit the Iron Throne in return for land, gold and council positions. Aegon has been raised to be the perfect monarch, learned in the way of diplomacy, history, poetry, and so on. Shout out to Scepter Lamore. I don't know why I gave that drawing such big boobies. My goodness, not appropriate. Of course, Aegon... Just hire Gliders to do the Kermit voice. Gliders, I can do a good Kermit. Was it one of the live streams he did it with Shrifty? He did a Kermit. He can do a good Kermit. I might have to do a Kermit off with Gliders. One of these days, if we live stream together, when we live stream together, we're going to do a little Kermit back and forth. Aegon may in fact be Aegon Blackfire. There are theories that his real father is Illyrio, and his mother was a Blackfire. Perhaps Varys is hoping his lifelong friend place his son on the throne. Or perhaps Varys himself is a Blackfire, Illyrio's brother-in-law, trying to get his nephew on the throne. Yeah, so the theory here is that Illyrio is married to Sarah Blackfire. We know his wife is called Sarah. Sarah's kind of a Valyrian-ish name, so Sarah Blackfire. Varys was born a slave in Lys. Maybe Sarah and Varys were both born in Lys, the last remaining Blackfires. Varys was castrated because of his blood, his king's blood as part of a ritual. Sarah became basically the last way to continue the line of Blackfire. Varys befriended Illyrio, fell in love with Sarah, they had a kid, and they were like, well, this kid is the last Blackfire. He's through the female line, but he's still the last Blackfire. Let's put him on the throne. And so so it could either be Varys is friends with Illyrio, or it could be deeper. It could be Illyrio is my brother-in-law, and young Griff is my nephew. Or maybe Varys is a... Okay, this meme about Varys being Aegon's mother, I kind of said it as a joke, but Varys being a woman is not a bad... It's not a bad concept. I don't think it's true. And it would be funny if it were true in terms of, like, there's no way they could have got away with that in the show, so they had to cast a man. But it is quite funny. No, it's not funny, sorry. It's interesting, I think, that you can have a character that's like a bald, plump, effeminate eunuch. And it's like, that could be a woman. It could be a woman who's shaved her head. You know? Where it's like, oh, no genitals, slightly effeminate, and maybe kind of pudgy. No one would question it, but it's just a pudgy woman who's shaved her head, pretending to be a eunuch, pretending to be a man, secretly the mother of young Griff, the lover of Illyrio. Maybe not. But it could be I feel like in another fantasy series, I could see that. In another medieval fantasy series, I could see there being like a eunuch character who's actually a woman who's risen to a high position of power because everyone thinks they're a man. I don't think it is for Varys. I don't think there's been maybe not enough foreshadowing, not enough clues and hints, but could be a cool idea. Is there a chance I'll make a video about Sothorios and the south of the world? Definitely. I'm going to do... I mean, let's be honest. I'm going to explore every asset of A Song of Ice and Fire until I've run out. Like, there's a lot of fantasy to talk about, sure. Content is awesome. I enjoy it. Thank you, Luke. Bum, 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 bum. All right. Aegon's mother. Okay, no, probably not. Either way, he is crafting a perfect king, but also may have some strong personal ties to the lad. Varys stays behind in King's Landing to cause chaos and aid Aegon's inevitable invasion. He leaves behind a house guard and a coin in Rugen's cell. With Varys missing, so too is his jailer alter ego. The coin makes Cersei paranoid that the Tyrells paid off the jailer to free Tyrion and escape. Dun dun. Preying on Cersei's increasingly paranoid mental state and the growing tensions between the Lannisters. You know, I do have to say that I'm stating that theory as a fact, but it's almost definitely true, but I am stating it as a fact. Where Cersei discovers a house guard and a coin in Rugen's cell, and the implication is that the Tyrells paid Rugen to free Tyrion, and then Rugen disappeared with him. Because he's abandoned the Rugen persona, because he's now hiding in the walls. He is in your walls. And leading a guard and a coin will make Cersei suspicious of the Tyrells. It's a theory, it's almost definitely true, but it's still a theory. It has not been proven yet. The Tyrells, Varys causes more chaos by murdering Bruh, I sent you a donate through Streamlabs and shit didn't even pop up. Okay, if the Streamlabs tips aren't popping out on stream, I'm very sorry about that. I have to work out why that is. I will be reading out Streamlabs tips at the end of the stream. If I don't crash. Hopefully I don't crash again. I will be reading stuff out. And we're nearly at the end of the stream, actually. The last stretch of the video. And Maester Pycelle, and shooting the regent Kevan Lannister with a crossbow. His motivations are threefold. We were robbed of that scene. I can't let the video play for more than 5 seconds. We were robbed of Varys. Oh my god, you kidding me? Varys with the crossbow giving his speech. Shoots Kevan, then the Pycelle's dead in a corner, then the little birds come. Damn, that's annoying. And then they did a similar scene where they like merged Kevan and Pycelle, and they did it with Qyburn instead of Varys. But instead of being a brutal assassination meant to destroy a figure of stability and frame Tyrion and increase tensions and divisions at court, in the show, Qyburn has Pycelle stabbed to death because he doesn't like him. Because he's like a maester and Qyburn was kicked out of the citadel or something, even though Pycelle was going to the trial where he would have blown up anyway. But I guess he just wanted it to be personal. I didn't even know Qyburn and Pycelle had enough beef for that kind of thing. I don't know. It was like a nod to the books. I was just like, I'd rather you just didn't. Instead of like You're bastardizing a great scene, just don't do it. If you're not going to include it for some reason, just don't. 1, he removes a competent player off the board. For 2, Kevan and Pycelle could be replaced by Tyrells, thus successor. Yes, so I talk about this in... Is it my Tyrell video? Probably. Yeah, the idea here is that after Pycelle is stripped of his position, the Tyrells think about... Wait, no, let me... Yeah, no, sorry. We know that there is a Maester who is Mace Tyrell's uncle, Gorman Tyrell. He's the acting Archmaester, so he's not actually an Archmaester, he's acting because the current Archmaester is senile, I think. And the idea is that if Pycelle is dead, the Tyrells might give the Conclave of Maesters a little wink wink, nudge nudge, hey, could you send Mace Tyrell's uncle to be the new Grand Maester? And then Garth the Gross is the Lord Steward of Highgarden. He's another one of Mace's uncles. Here on the right, I have him. Called so because he farts a lot or something? I can't remember. But the idea is that Mace Tyrell wanted Garth the Gross to be the Master of Coin, but then Tywin intervened and was like, nope, Tyrion's a Master of Coin. We're not having that. But with the current Master of Coin, who is Sir Harris Swift, who could die in Bravos. I talked about this a lot, I won't get into this, but there's a theory Harris Swift, the Master of Coin, will be killed by Bravos in Bravos because he's wearing garish colours. He could be replaced by Garth Tyrell, and so we'll have a Tyrell Hand of the King, we'll have a Tyrell Grand Maester, and a Tyrell Master of Coin, and a Tyrell Queen in Marjorie, and it will drive Cersei even more insane. I just broke my pen. I was fiddling with my pen so much I broke it. It's not even my pen, it's someone else. Oh, God damn it. Oh, there's such a nice pen and I broke... Oh, alright, carry on. Stop fidgeting. Baiting the tensions. And for 3, the use of a crossbow and his little bird's daggers will make Cersei believe that Tyrion is responsible and hiding in the walls. So what fate awaits the spider in the winds of winter and beyond? Aegon Targaryen may just take King's Landing, in which case we'll see Varys serve yet another ruler as Master of Whisperers. If he truly did kidnap Tyrek, perhaps he'll place the lad as the puppet lord of Casterly Rock. Lord Tyrek, horse emojis in the chat. The book series may end with Varys creating his own utopia, ruled by his Zuma puppets. Hey, the Zuma invasion, we get Edric Storm, we've got Tyrek Lannister, we get Aegon Blackfire. Including a perfect monarch, whether that monarch is truly a Targaryen or a Blackfire. But that's not a very likely ending. Varys claims to serve the realm, but his actions serve to maintain stability until the time comes to unleash chaos, and give his chosen monarch an advantage while invading. He is willingly bringing about death and destruction and pillaging to get someone on the Iron Throne instead of trying to better the crown as is. He must see himself as a utilitarian. His means, assassination, child mutilation, warfare, will be justified by a desired end. Will the moral of the books be that causing chaos and inviting war is justified if your chosen guy gets to rule? Probably not. More likely, the ambitious spider will be crushed. Perhaps by his rival Littlefinger. Perhaps by Stannis Baratheon, who promised to put his head on a spike. Or perhaps his fate in the show is somewhat accurate. If a second Dance of Dragons kicks off, Varys' ambitions may literally go up in flames, along... Sorry, I left that playing for quite a while. But yeah, Littlefinger killing Varys. No. I don't think it's going to happen. Stannis killing Varys? No, Stannis is never making it to King's Landing. I think it's more likely he will meet a fiery end. Dance of Dragons kicks off, Varys' ambitions may literally go up in flames, along with his intricate silken spiderweb. Thanks for watching. Like the video and... So there we go. The real Varys. Yeah, I think I'm going to read out the tips. No super chats today, we got some tips. I'll read out the tips. Thank you to everyone who donated, and thank you for everyone else for watching. You're amazing. My next live stream will be the Varys theory iceberg. I don't know when that is, and I'm also going to be doing a live stream or two on the Interesting Nerd Club's YouTube channel. So check out the Interesting Nerd Club tomorrow. I may be joining a live stream. And in terms of future content, I'll quickly say, what am I working on? I'm working on videos that will be released during House of the Dragon. So there won't be regular videos for quite a while. Maybe if there's a new Hot D trailer at some point, I could do a breakdown video of that. But I'll mostly be working on animated videos to be released while Hot D is out. So that along with live streams and reviews each week, you get proper animated content as well. So yeah. Well, that's enough of that nonsense. Let's read the tips before the stream crashes again. So, okay, yeah, so there's a tip from my stream a week ago, my Sand Snake stream, that I didn't get to read out because the stream crashed. That's from LJ, who tipped, £10. Thanks, fam. LJ said, 3 streams in a day, how do you find the time? I don't know what you're talking about. I definitely didn't crash twice in my last Sand Snake live stream. Definitely not. Thank you for the tip from Big Dickens, lovely, who says, how does a green victory scenario animation sound to you? Same as the Blackfire victory scenario you did. I love your animation style, and I want to see more alternate fantasy from you. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much, Big Dickens. If you are still here in the chat, you may have left after the first stream crashed, I don't know. But, yeah, green victory scenario, that sounds good. I want to do more alternate fantasy. So I've only done one, which is the Blackfire Rebellion succeeding. Hadn't got a lot of views, comparatively, so those videos are suddenly riskier. You guaranteed to get more views talking about something that is as opposed to something that could be, but nonetheless I really enjoyed making it. The people who watched it loved it, so I want to do more alternate fantasy just as much as I want to expand beyond A Song of Ice and Fire and do other kinds of fantasy. So a green victory scenario, that would be interesting. That would be total green victory, and then all the consequences of that. I'll look into that. I might be cooking that up probably after Hot D Season 2. That could be a fun one to jump into, yeah. If you haven't seen my Blackfire Victory alternate thing, check out my video on it on my channel. It's basically me going through every single Blackfire rebellion and being like, how would each of these rebellions succeed and what would happen if they did. Okay, next up we have, thank you for the tip from KW Quiled Child, maybe. Quiled Child 1, who says, hello Lord Haven, new patron here. Oh, awesome. Love your content. Thank you very much, fam. Love you too. My question is, if Varys is a Blackfire, how is he related to the main Blackfire line? Whom does he descend from? Meleys, Hagon, Daemon III, or maybe the female line somewhere? So if Varys is a Blackfire, Varys and Serra, let's say, because Illyrio says that the male line of Blackfire is extinct. If Varys is a Blackfire, that implies that Varys's mother would be a Blackfire, and he wouldn't be descended from the male line. But that could just be Illyrio saying the male line is extinct because the last male is a eunuch, so it's basically extinct. Yeah. If he is descended from the male line, Meleys, I don't think Meleys. No, we only hear about Meleys having one son, and that's not even in the official text. It's was it early drafts of Feast for Crows or early drafts of World of Ice and Fire, where he apparently had an infant son that he burned as a sacrifice to hatch an egg. So I don't think Meleys has any kids. It could be Hagon, Daemon III. Could be any of them. Personally, I don't think Varys is actually a Blackfire. I think it is a cool idea, but I have a feeling he's not a Blackfire. I think it's more Serra is a Blackfire and Illyrio is friends with, and Varys is friends with Illyrio. But if he were a Blackfire, I'd be happy with that too. Like I'd be like, yeah, cool. Could go either way. But who does he descend from? I bet George has like a proper family tree mapped out, but we're probably not going to see it for a while. Yeah, could be any of them. Could be any of them, but I don't think it's Meleys. It could even be a descendant of Meleys' cousin, right? There was a cousin called Daemon, who was the Captain General of the Golden Company. Meleys tore his head off to become the new Captain General. Maybe that Daemon had kids. And finally, thank you for the tip from Boombler, who says, do the Kermit voice, you silly Billy. Oh, god damn it. I'm just about to end the stream. Do I have to? Yeah, Boombler. God damn it, Boombler. I'm just about to finish the live stream. Yeah. I've been talking about Varys for 2 hours. I've crashed twice. Now I have to do a fucking Kermit voice. This is not acceptable. I don't want to do it, but I've got no choice. I feel like a monkey, dancing on the strings of my super chatters and tippers and patrons. I am little more than a slut. I'm more of a... I'm more of a financial slut than a content creator at this point. Yeah, it's chilling. Yeah. Kermit Tully will appear in a Hot D Season 2. And there'll probably be more Kermit impressions later on. Yeah. Alright, that's enough. I've embarrassed myself enough. I think it's time to end the live stream. Thank you so much for watching. Interesting Nerd Club, gonna do a live stream. I'm gonna be with them. Check out that channel. Varys Theory Iceberg at some point. And I'll be doing live streams up until Hot D. And then a whole bunch of stuff is gonna drop in Hot D. If you're a patron, you know what my planned videos are. If you're not, you can guess. But there'll be some fun ones. Alright, that's it. That's the end. I'm only waiting because I want to see people